Hi, everybody. Welcome to class today. Today, we're going to talk and focus on the immune system, and we're going to focus on boosting the immune system. Why does immune system matter? I think right now everybody knows the answer to that. It's a really important hot topic right now across the board and across the world. And with things opening up and us a little bit in most places more able to walk into and move into the world, I think just generally boosting your immune system and having as healthy of an immune system as possible as you can is going to help everything across the board. So when I talk about the immune system, the first thing that I always want to make really clear is that our bodies are amazing at what they do. And to boost your immune system, all you have to do is take care of anything. If you take care of anything, then your body will naturally start to have more resources to use in its immune system. So while you're thinking about what you can do or add or take out or change in your life, in your lifestyle and the things that you're doing and using, you can really focus on what would be immune supportive, or you can just focus on what is it that is having the biggest toll in my life right now, or what is it that's having a toll, even if it's just a little bit, that I could take off the plate and not have to deal with, and so that your body has more resilience. So when we talk about how to boost your immune system, there's a lot of ways to do it. So I'm going to talk about 5 general ways to boost your immune system, and then different products and things that you can use from Young Living that will support that. I like to think, where we're talking about metaphors and analogies, I like to think of an analogy of a bag, like a suitcase, right? A suitcase, or maybe a purse, or one of those backpacks with a lot of pouches. That would be my metaphor for an immune system. So there's 5 ways to support that immune system, that bag. The first thing you can do is you can free up resources, right? So if I have my suitcase that I'm going to get ready to pack for a trip, and I know I'm going to try and take my smallest suitcase, but I want to take a lot of things, the first thing I'm going to do is unzip that extra zipper that goes nowhere, that just gives more space, right? I'm going to open up all the compartments. I'm going to make sure that I take off the luggage strap. I'm going to make sure I take off the pieces that are constraining the bag that I'm going to use, so that it can be as expanded as it can be. So I'm going to free up resources with that. We do the same thing in our immune system when we do things like take off toxic chemicals that are taking a toll in our house. Releasing restrictions that you can do from body work when you can get body work, from movement, from exercise, from breathing, expanding the capacity of your lungs to actually have a full breath and release that breath. Lowering stress in general, generalized stress and your response to it can also free up some of those resources. And just help you in general take care of that low-hanging fruit. The stuff that isn't probably a big drain on your system, isn't probably something you're thinking about all day, every day, or even often, but it's just enough to like slow you down. So freeing up resources is the first one. The second one would be to stop putting in things that aren't working for you. So in the analogy of the bag, my suitcase, I would stop putting in junk I don't need to take with me on my trip. If I'm going on a beach vacation, I do not need to pack my parka. I'm not putting my parka in there. So I stop putting things in the bag in my system that I don't need. The third piece is you're going to remove things that you already in there that you don't need. All right. So in my bag, I'm going to take out all the stuff that I've been storing in that empty suitcase since the last time I took my vacation, all the things that are just hanging out in there. Take that stuff out that I don't need. Do the same thing with our systems and like detoxing and resetting and getting things ready. The fourth one would be to add useful tools just in general. I know when I pack, I'm always going to bring a toothbrush. I'm always going to bring toothpaste and deodorant. I'm always going to bring a swimming suit because I like to swim. But there's some things that are just always going to be useful. So I'm always going to have that in. I'm going to do the same thing with my body. I'm going to put the things in my system that are probably just always generally useful. They're just open-ended. Here's a tool, use it, that's great. And then the fifth one would be the targeted support. Targeted support would be targeted for your immune system or targeted for whatever it is that's really challenging you or that you really want to support. So in my packing analogy, my targeted support would be those event-specific things that I'm going to pack. So if I'm going on a beach vacation, I want to pack my swimming suit, my flip-flops, my sunscreen, my sunglasses. I want to pack things that I will need for that event. Same with our immune system. So that's kind of how we're going to go. We're going to talk about freeing up resources, stopping putting things in that we don't need, taking out things that are already there that are taking a toll, taking up too much room, adding general useful things to the body that's useful, and then targeted support. It's kind of how it's going to flow. So when we're starting with the freeing up resources, this is one I think is honestly one of the easiest places to start when we're talking about immune system and being as healthy as you can. And throughout this, I'm going to talk about living above the wellness line. I'm going to talk about what it's like to be up above the wellness line, how to stay up here, and how to support that above the wellness line. If you drop below the wellness line, or if you're already below the wellness line, all of this still applies. You're just going to need more of it. You're going to need more support to get there. But we're going to talk about being healthy and staying healthy and living above that wellness line, having and supporting a healthy immune system. So first thing I like to talk about when I'm talking about freeing up resources is toxic chemicals. If there are toxic chemicals in your house or toxins in your house in general, it's going to make it really challenging to do all the things you want and need to do. It's just going to take a toll on your system. So first thing to do, take that out, remove that, free up those resources. You can also free up resources as far as restrictions in your body. So like I was talking about the breath, right? Our immune system is really tied in with our breathing and our breath and our ability to breathe. So just noticing, are you breathing in the front of your lungs? Can you breathe in the back of your lungs? Do you even have a concept of what that would be like? Are you using all 3 dimensions of your lungs? When you take a breath right now, can you feel your lungs moving on the side? Like put your hands on the side right now and take a breath. Do your ribs move out and expand? Or is it kind of no movement? That's giving you an idea of what is your capacity right now. If you don't have that movement on the side of your ribs, hey, that's like having that luggage strap around your bag and you're trying to load it. That doesn't work. You need to remove that luggage strap. You can do the same on the back, like lean back into your chair and take a breath. Do you feel yourself moving? Do you feel your breath moving in your back? If you don't, there's a little indication that you might have some restrictions in your breathing that you can address. There's a lot of ways to address them. And this can be anywhere in your body, right? Think about restrictions in your digestive system. If your digestive system isn't able to do all of those wonderful movements, motility and mobility that it naturally does, then guess what's not moving through? All the stuff you don't want to have in there, right? All that stuff that's hanging out in your digestive system that really should be hanging out in the sewer system. Yeah, we don't want that. So you want to do what you can to release those restrictions. Physically, you can get body work, you can do belly massages, you can do anything that's going to have a twisting motion to it. Yoga can be really great here for releasing restrictions in your digestive system and in your belly. Hula hooping, that's a fun one. And you can get that movement and help to get some movement in your belly restrictions, in your spine, all over the place. There are tons of ways to get more movement, more mobility, release physical restrictions in your body. Go for it. Use your tools. Play with them. That's going to support your immune system in general. Also can think about how restricted are you in your beliefs, in the beliefs that are driving your story, in the things that you're telling yourself. What is it that you're telling yourself or about your world or about your experiences that's causing a restriction, that's feeling like it's making you pull in or hunch up or hide? That's not this feeling here of like this, not helpful for your immune system. If you can find what that is and deal with that in whatever way works for you, whether that's prayer, meditation, working with a therapist, working with a counselor, body work, journaling, whatever. There are so many ways to do it. If you can do that and get that released, you've given yourself, your capacity way more, your body way more capacity to move in the world in a way that's healthy. So take a look at what restrictions are active in your life, whether they're physical, mental, emotional, beliefs, whatever, and see what can you shift. That doesn't mean you need to go take a crowbar and get everything out of the way, but what can you shift in a way that will work for you? Stress is a huge restriction. And it's really well documented that as stress goes up, our immune response tends to go down. There is a little bit where stress goes up and our immune response kicks on. It's like, oh, hey, there's something going on I should pay attention to. But once it passes a threshold that stress continues long-term or goes on long-term, our immune system, it struggles. It's hard. It's a challenge. It's harder to get things going, keep things going, and respond accurately and appropriately. So anything you can do to release and relieve stress, super helpful. Of course, there's a ton of products and oils that we can talk about for stress relief. And I think I did a class on it already, but just take a look at what works for you for relieving stress. Where is your stress? Is it a physical stress? My belly right now is physically stressed. I'm having some digestive stuff. All right, that is a stress that I can deal with whatever supplements and oils I would use. Is it an emotional stress? Is it an environmental stress, a financial stress? What's the stress? How can you deal with it? How can you reset that piece so that you can lower your stress levels or lower your immediate response right now to stress? It's okay to be stressed sometimes, but it can be really too easy and a challenge to notice when you don't need that stress. This doesn't apply right now. It applied before and it'll apply again tomorrow, but right now it doesn't apply, so I'm going to turn that off. If you can learn how to do that and help yourself adjust that, that can be really helpful in supporting and boosting your immune system. And then whatever low-hanging fruit happens to be around, and when I say low-hanging fruit, I really mean those things that happen and occur in the world, in our life, in what's around us, that are kind of seem like innocuous, kind of easy to deal with. Maybe they're so low-hanging that we're not even aware of it or paying attention to it. So low-hanging fruit can be something like acne, right? If you have acne, you have issues with acne, your immune system is having to respond to that. But it may be something that you've dealt with your whole life or you've dealt with a lot lately, so you don't even think of it as being an issue or think of it as being a draw on your immune system. But it is. So if there's something that you can do to support acne, then you're getting some of that low-hanging fruit off, so your immune system doesn't have to do anything with that, and it gets to go work in these other areas. And low-hanging fruit can be just, I have a sluggish digestive system, right? For me, it's been sluggish for a while. Okay, sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not. Right now, it's sluggish. That can be low-hanging fruit. It's not something I think about all the time necessarily. It's not something that I think about in relationship to my immune system, but it is a huge impact in my immune system. A lot of your immune system relates and resides in your gut. So if I have things not moving well in my gut, that can be having a big toll. So if I get that balanced out a bit, it may not take that much for me to get balanced out of it. It might, but any more balance I can get there, it can help to relieve some of the stress on my immune system, free up those resources so that my immune system can work better. Another thing to think about here in freeing up your immune system is what other systems are being overworked? What other systems are having challenges that they can use a little support on? If you can support your respiratory system, your bone and joints, you can support your cardiovascular system, your digestive system, or any other system, then you're automatically also boosting the capacity for your immune system to do what it needs to do. So you get to play around with what is the low-hanging fruit that could be helpful for you. What resources can you free up in your life that will be useful? Any of those, like I started at the very beginning, anything you do to help yourself is going to help your immune system. So if all you can focus on right now is your own digestive system, go for it. If all you can focus on right now is finding peace and calming by using peace and calming, or reducing stress by, Stress Away or Tranquil or cedarwood or any of these other essential oils that are useful for that, then go for that. That's going to be helpful. Second would be to stop putting things in to your system that are taking a toll, right? So this would be where in my analogy of having the suitcase, I'm not going to continue to put things into my suitcase for storage when I'm supposed to be packing for a trip. I tend to store things in my suitcases, in my closet, because, you know, it's just a big empty box in my closet. Why not store things in it? But if I'm getting ready to pack for a trip, I'm not going to keep putting things in there for storage. That doesn't make sense. No. So stop putting things in that are going to have an impact. So take a look at what is it that you're putting into your system that is having an impact. Are you putting stress into your system? Not your immune system, but your body, your system, right? Are you doing things that add stress to your life? If so, what can you change? For me, right now, that means I don't watch stressful TV. I love watching a good drama. I love watching a good action show, but right now, in this moment, that does not feel helpful. I am at already too high a level of stress. When I start watching those, I notice in my body that it just feels way heavier. My heart starts racing faster. My breathing shallows. All of these, not what we want in our system. So for me, one of the things that I did early on in the, you know, shelter in place stuff we've got going on right now is to only watch things that are lighthearted or funny. Only watch things that I enjoy. All right. It seemed like such an easy thing to do, but it has such huge ramifications for me. I noticed in those few times where I decided, you know what, I do want to watch a drama today, or I do want to watch action, or I do want to watch that one show, and I watch it, I noticed I wasn't sleeping very good that night. I didn't sleep as well. I didn't go to bed laughing, so I didn't sleep through the night in that emotion or in that energy. So, okay, I'm not watching those shows right now. Finding other things to do. That was removing that level, where in my normal world it would be fine. Right now it's not. So, you know, you got to be a little bit flexible here. Removing things could be things like excess weight. I don't know about you all, but my scale is going in the wrong direction right now. So I'm still adding things that are taking a toll on my body instead of, you know, working out those things. So maybe I need to start paying attention to personally, what is it that I'm putting in that's taking a toll and making things harder to move and work through. You can also pay attention to your hygiene. What is it doing in your hygiene, in your daily taking care of yourself, that is adding things you don't want and need, right? So this is a really great place to pay attention to your products. What products are you using? What do your products have in them? And remember that anything you put on or in your skin gets into your bloodstream within 26 seconds. It doesn't take long, right? Any shampoo or conditioner you put on your head, guess what's right under here? It's your brain. There's a lot of barriers between your scalp and your brain, but even as you're rinsing that off and the shampoo or conditioner, whatever, is coming down here, do you know what's right behind here? A lot of things. You have your carotid artery. Man, if you're going to get something into your bloodstream and then potentially up into your brain quickly, your carotid artery is a great place to do that. And if you don't want that to happen, you need to make sure that you're using products that don't have things that are problematic for you. Cleaning, right? I use Thieves cleaner because it is really handy. This one bottle can make up to 50 or 100, depending on how you dilute it, bottles. I tend to do it at about 32 bottles because I like it a little bit stronger. But this can make a lot of bottles of cleaner. I can go through this in a year. I'm not a heavy cleaner. It might last 6 months for somebody. If you have a big family, maybe less. But one of these can last me a year. That's a long time for one bottle of cleaner because it makes so many other bottles of cleaner, but it uses clean products to clean what's around me. So I'm not adding more toxins to my environment. I do the same thing with my dish soap. So I use the Thieves dish soap. A lot of people don't pay attention to what's in their dish soap because they think, well, it just gets rinsed off. Same with your laundry, right? I use the Thieves laundry soap personally. And I didn't think about this before. I didn't care what was in my laundry soap. All I cared about was, did it get my laundry clean? But what I didn't realize was whether it's the dishes or my laundry, all of that doesn't rinse off. There will always be a residue. That residue then goes on the plate, on the fork, on the cup, on the pot, and then goes my food and drinks, and then that goes into my mouth. And guess what? I don't want that. That's scary. When I was thinking about my laundry situation, if it cleaned my clothes and it smelled pretty good, I was okay with it. I didn't really care. And then I started thinking about, okay, anything that goes on or in my skin goes into my bloodstream. I wear clothes all day long. I sleep in sheets, under blankets, and on pillows. I get out of a hot, steamy shower with my pores all nice and open, and I dry myself off head to toe with a towel. That has the chemicals that I would use to clean it, the chemicals that I use to fabric soften it, all of that, the dryer sheets that I used to use, all of that in the product. And as I put it on my skin, into my skin and into my bloodstream. I didn't realize how much of an impact it had on my lungs and on my system until I stopped using it. I stopped using general cleaners, general laundry soap, and I used Thieves. I stopped using dryer sheets. I got wool dryer balls and I would put essential oils on them. I changed how I did all of my laundry. And after about 6 months, I was like, I don't know. It seems like it's good. I'm fine with how things are. And I went and stayed with a friend who uses all the conventional things, let's just say, all the conventional things. And she likes to make sure that her laundry smells clean for weeks. Guess what that means? There's a ton of fragrance and chemicals that are absorbed into the material so that it continues to off-gas for weeks. So I crawled into bed, pulled the sheets up because I was in her guest bed. She'd made sure it was all super nice and clean, and I couldn't breathe. I had asthma growing up. I had lung problems growing up. I haven't had those problems in a long time, but I couldn't breathe because the fragrance, the smell, and that off-gassing from the clean sheets and blankets and pillows was so strong. It was insane. I got out of the shower. I went to dry off my face. And again, I was like hit with, oh my God, the amount of clean smelling things on this towel was overwhelming. And that's when I realized I had been able to clear out so much of that from my system that I actually was responding poorly to it. I just didn't know it. I didn't know it until I knew it, and now I know it. So paying attention to what you're removing can be really helpful. That would be in your environment. I stopped lighting candles. I definitely stopped all the things that you can plug in that then smell the whole house. That is off-gassing into the house. I want things, if I'm trying to have the house smell a certain way, clean, fresh, whatever, or support me, I want it to be something that's going to be supportive of me in many ways. So I started diffusing essential oils instead. Way more useful, way more helpful, and way more healthy. And then cleaning up the food and drink I consumed, right? I rarely did protein shakes in my life before, but when I did a protein shake, it was usually whatever was cheap and made me feel full. And then when I started evaluating what's actually in those protein shakes, because I was just debating if I was going to get one of the protein shakes from Young Living, and I started evaluating what was in those protein shakes versus what's in these protein shakes, I was shocked. I was amazed how much filler was in there, how much junk, I'm going to say junk, was in the conventional protein shakes. I couldn't believe it. And then I looked at what was in the Young Living protein shakes, and there's a lot of great things. They automatically have enzymes in there to help you break down what's being consumed. They have a wonderful amount of protein. They have really great amino acids. Most of the protein shakes I had before definitely didn't have amino acids. It was more like sawdust that I was eating. What you're putting in, if you can keep it as clean and healthy and useful for your body as possible, that's going to boost your immune system. It gives your immune system more resilience. So the other thing I want to say about cleaning up what you're intaking, cleaning up your food, your drink, your environment, whatever. One really important thing that I find working with clients, working with the people around me, is that and I find this for myself, if somebody tells me I need to clean up my diet, I need to stop eating something or start eating something, I get stressed out about that. That adds stress to my plate. And I can feel my system like, oh no, here we go, it's going to be restricted. That doesn't work. That is going to be a drain on your immune system. That's what we don't want right now. So if you're thinking about what you're going to change in your lifestyle, you're going to change in your diet, you're going to change in your intake, make it something that doesn't add that kind of stress. Make it something that you can take baby steps here. You can take little steps here. Change out, swap out things, find ways to make it better, healthier, easier for you without feeling like it has to be all or nothing, without feeling like you have to run through this gauntlet and get it right all the time. If you have that mentality, then just don't do it. Because let me tell you, it's going to be a bigger drain on your immune system than it will be a support. It's going to be a bigger drain on your immune system if that's your mentality and that's what's going on in your system, than it will be supportive. So pay attention to how you're responding to your own thoughts about what to change in your intake. And then pay attention when you're eating something or drinking something. Are you eating or drinking something that is giving you joy? Because if you are really, truly enjoying in that moment, whatever it is you're consuming joy, you're not consuming calories. You're consuming joy, you're not consuming fat. Your body generally will be more likely to use it as if it's joy than as if it's calories, fat, sodium, and things like that. Now, I'm not saying go out and eat candy because you like eating candy, right? I know, shucks. What I am saying is pay attention to how you are experiencing yourself eating candy while you're eating it. Because then you're going to notice, how much can I eat while it's still joy? And then stop before it turns into, okay, now I'm just eating sugar, right? I had to really learn this for hot chocolates. I love hot chocolate. And there's a point in time in which I'm drinking my hot chocolate that it goes from, oh my God, this is the most amazing thing. I'm loving this. I'm loving the taste. I'm loving the sensation. This feels so good. My little hot chocolate moment. And there's a point in time where it will switch to, no, I'm just drinking. I'm just drinking something that tastes good. That's it. So I gotta notice where that switches and change that. If you can notice at that level, then what you're consuming is going to be less of a drain on your system and more supportive for you naturally. That's just going to start naturally happening. And it will help you navigate what to shift and when it's right to shift it. If you decide to go all out and change everything in your life, there are very few people that I know that can do that without taking a big hit on their system. So how are you using what you're consuming? Are you using it to make you feel better in a moment because you're stressed out or anxious or whatever? Or are you using it because you're really enjoying the moment? That's going to make a difference too. Then you want to start thinking about detoxing, number 3. So this is where you're taking out the stuff that's been in your suitcase, right? I stored all the stuff in my suitcase, got all kinds of stuff stored in my body that maybe I don't need right now. It's taking a drain on my immune system, and in my suitcase, I can't pack the things I want for my imagined beach vacation if I have all the things stored in there that are stored in there. I got to take that stuff out. There are a lot of ways to help remove stuff in your system, and there's a lot of beliefs about detoxing, whether they work, whether they don't, whether they're useful, whether they're not. There's a lot that you can research on this, and you've got to do your own research and decide what works for you. What I know that works for me is sometimes I need to reset my system. I find this, a really good indicator for this for me is when I find myself needing a dessert after every meal, or like really, really craving a lot of sugar. That for me is an indicator that something is out of balance and maybe a reset would be helpful. So that's where I may look into, okay, maybe I'm going to do a little bit of a detox. I call it a detox because it's just easier, but I think of it as a reset. It's not about taking all kinds of stuff out of my body. Well, that might happen. We don't know, but it's about resetting where I'm at and where I need to be. Some products that Young Living has that's really helpful for that would be Comfort Tone and ICP. Those are the letters ICP. It's often in the Young Living world known as ICPoo, because you do, when you start taking that, things move through better. So if you got sluggish and you're not seeing your poo and you're just like ready to, ICP would be a great way to get things moving through. Comfort Tone helps things move through as well. We have the Digesting Cleanse Blend. It is a capsule that you take, and it's basically does exactly that. Digesting cleanse helps to keep things moving out, break things down so that they can be eliminated. We also have a cleanse that cleansing trio and a cleanse that you can buy on Young Living. So basically, the cleanse comes with Ningxia Red. It comes with the Balance Complete Protein Shake that has protein and fiber in it, and then it has the Digesting Cleanse capsules that you can take, and a specific way to do it. And then it's 5 days, and you do that, and you kind of get a reset. I am a believer that cleanses can be useful depending on what you do and how you do it. They can also be a really big drain on your system. So if you're wanting to boost your immune system because something's going on and you're about to go out into the world for it, may not be the time to do a detox. If you feel like you have a lot of capacity, like you're doing pretty good and you want to continue in that space, you're probably not going to hit something that's super emotional or super draining on your system, then that might be a good time to do a detox. And know that when you're doing a detox, generally speaking, a longer, gentler detox works better for most of us in our systems. Because detoxing traditionally takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of energy to detox our system. So if you're doing a detox program, I suggest paying attention to when you decide to do it. What is your capacity internally, do you feel like? Why are you doing it? And then pick one that's a little bit longer and more gentle. You can do one of those really hard-hitting 3 days, like, everything at once, but that is really going to take a drain on your system. And that's not what most of us want right now. So you can do more gentle detoxes, and you can do more gentle resets that last a long period of time. This is something that I do kind of all the time. I'm always paying attention to how are things moving through digestively, through my breath, coming out my skin. Am I sweating enough? What's happening in my sweating? Am I breaking out? If I'm breaking out and stuff's happening, it could be hormonal, or it could be just that there's so much stuff that needs to come out that it's having a hard time coming out, right? My breath, great detoxing from your breath. And my digestive system, bladder, bowels, all of it. How are things moving through? And if they're not, what can you do to support that? That's when I will go grab my Comfort Toad or my ICP or my Life 9 probiotics or my enzymes or any of these other tools that I have to help support my digestive system moving through, detoxing, releasing, getting things out. Fourth would be adding useful tools to your body in general. These are the things that are just generally useful for you, things that your body will know what to do with, can use, and can move forward with. My number one general tool used that's helpful for me every day is my Ningxia Red. I drink a Ningxia Red, 2 ounces of Ningxia Red a day. This is the antioxidant juice from Young Living. If you want to learn more about antioxidants, I did a class on this a few weeks ago. It's on my YouTube channel. Check it out. We spent the whole time talking about antioxidants, what they are, why they're useful, and different ways to get them and use them. But super high in antioxidants. You can kind of never go wrong with antioxidants. The more you have in your system throughout the day, not just at one point, but throughout the day, the more capacity your body has to fight free radicals. The more capacity your body has to use what's already there and effective and not go into a place of depletion. So Ningxia Red, for me, this is an everyday thing. I drink 2 ounces of this every day to boost everything that I can in my system, focused on antioxidants and everything else that comes with it. You also want to look at useful things to add, like in your nutrition, right? So if my energy balance gets off during the day, that's a problem. If my sugar levels and stuff get off during the day, that's a problem. How do I keep that in balance? You can keep that in balance by what you're consuming. You can keep that in balance a little bit by supplementation and essential oils and things like that. Pay attention to where you're at and what you can keep at balance. Once things go out of balance, it can become like a domino effect. So even if I'm thinking about, my sugars and whether or not I become hangry all of a sudden, that has a domino effect into my breathing, into my stress levels, which brings up my stress hormones. That can affect my immune system. That can affect my digestive system. And now just things all seem to be falling apart. If I can keep those levels up at a way that's working for me, even better. Ningxia Red is a great way to help balance that. The protein shakes, the Pure Protein Complete shakes or the Balance Complete shakes can be great in balancing that out. We also have the Sleek bars, the Wolfberry Crisp bars. There are a lot. There's the protein power protein bars. Can't remember the name of them right now. There's a lot of things like that that you can do and take to help support and balance that. Aquatia is an essential oil that you can use under your tongue if it's the Aquatia Vitality to help balance that as well. There's a lot of them, cinnamon bark, clove, all of those can help to balance all of that. So keeping things in balance, adding things in that will help to bring up that balance. And then I know things get busy and maybe I forget to eat. Well, if I'm not adding the nutrition that I need, if I'm not adding the tools that my body needs to get through the day, then I'm going to get to the end of the day depleted. And if I get to the end of the day depleted, then guess what's also depleted? My immune system. That's not what we want. We want to keep things up and going. So I have a baggie with 2 scoops of my protein shake in my office. I have a shaker bottle in my office. I carry one with me. I have it at home. I have all of this stuff all over the place so that I always have access to it in case things got busy. It's pretty easy to drink a shake, right? I don't have to stop. I don't have to spend a lot of time in it, but I keep them handy for me so that I always know that they're there. Even when I'm at home, at first when I started with the shelter in home, I kind of forgot about my protein shakes. I didn't use them. I just ignored them because, you know, the refrigerator's here. My kitchen's here. The cupboards are here. It's easy access to the food that I had. And what I recognized is, 1, I was using that poorly. And 2, I would still forget. I would still get distracted and I would still not eat a meal. That's not great. And then all of a sudden it would be an hour before dinner time and I'm hangry and I don't understand what's happening and I'm grumpy and I'm short. Not the way I want to move through the world, and not the way that the people around me want me to be moving through the world either. So I started reminding myself that if things were getting too busy, if I was on a call that was lasting longer than I thought it was going to, I could really easily grab a protein shake and I didn't feel like I had to make a meal. And I could make a choice that was healthier for me than grabbing the potato chips or whatever else it was that I was eating. And then I also bought extra Ningxia Red. So in the middle of the day, if I was having a stressful day and I just needed that extra boost, I would pour it in a glass, add grapefruit, vitality, essential oil, or lime, or whatever additional flavor I wanted, or none of that, and then drink that. That's a really helpful boost in the middle of the day. Another thing to add that's generally useful, that can be also supportive of the immune system, is enzymes. If you've watched any of my YouTubes, any of my classes, you probably know I always bring up enzymes. And that's because enzymes are always important. We used to, and by we, I mean my great-grandparents, used to get all the things they needed out of the food that they eat. The orange that my grandmother ate had the nutrients that it had. If I were to eat an orange now, to get the same nutrients as the one that she ate, I would have to eat 8. It takes 8 oranges now to match the nutritional value of 1 orange that my grandmother used to eat. The things in our food that used to be there just aren't there. It's not there. So we need enzymes and things to help us break down and use what we can. So essential enzymes, the way they work is that if you take them before, during, or after a meal, they help you break down that meal. If you take them between meals, they help you break down everything else. They help you clean out the leftovers. Let's face it, pretty much all of us have leftovers in our digestive system somewhere. A little extra hanging out, stuck to the wall, or just not moving through, waiting for something to come through and push it through. These enzymes can help to break down all of that. Enzymes are something that our body naturally produces. We produce them in our liver, in our pancreas, lots. I think our appendix, produces enzymes too. There are enzymes produced throughout our body. We produce enzymes in our mouth, in our saliva. So all the way from the beginning of our digestive tract to almost the very end, we produce different enzymes. And they're different in the different regions, the different places too. So targeted enzyme support can be really helpful. So there's 6 enzymes from essential oils, from Young Living, 6 enzymes from Young Living. It's a variety, it depends, so that you can figure out what works well for you. Right now, I have Allerzyme. This is a really great enzyme that's vegetarian. Most of them are vegetarian, and it promotes normal digestion. If you have allergies or you have things that you are naturally harder to digest, this might be a great option for you. Detoxing is another one that I have. This one has, it's a natural enzyme, but one of the functions of it is to help pull out some of that extra stuff that's hanging around. Some of that stuff that, you've stored in your luggage that maybe you don't need anymore. This can be a really great one to use. as well. I use this one almost every day. Essential Zyme is a bilayer capsule. It's got 2 layers to it because there's 2 parts to it. One is longer acting and one is faster acting because they go to different parts of your digestive system. But it's got multiple different types of enzymes in it. All of them have multiple different types of enzymes in them, and all of them are a little bit different. Essential Zymes 4, I didn't grab, it's on the counter over there. But that one is also, it comes in 2 pills. You take them both together. And just like the Essential Zymes, it's the dual acting. And then we have Sulfur Zyme, which does have some enzymes in it, but the focus more is on sulfur, so for ligaments and joints. And then we have enzymes for kiddos called Mighty Zymes, and I believe they're gummy. They're chewable in either direction. I think they're gummy, but enzymes for kiddos. So there's enzymes all over the place that you can use. I have multiple kinds because I know that my body needs multiple kinds of enzymes. So I kind of have almost all of them. And then I figure out what it is that I need in a moment to take. And again, I take them before, during, or after meal to digest that meal. And I take them between meals to digest everything else. Probiotics and prebiotics are also good to have in your system. So Life 9 is the probiotics that Young Living has. 17 billion active cultures, 9 different strains. It's a really great blend of probiotics. One of the things I love about Young Living Life 9 is that part of what they do is they infuse the probiotics with essential oils. And what this does is it helps to get the probiotics all the way through the stomach and into the digestive system where it needs to be. A lot of your other probiotic companies don't have that. So they start dying off as soon as they hit the stomach. So while you might have 50 billion, 100 billion, whatever cultures, what actually gets into your system and is useful is far less. So Young Living, they figured out what essential oils they can infuse with that helps them to get further into the system. So I love these ones, super helpful. I use them pretty much every single day in the evening before I go to bed. Mighty Pro is another probiotic support. So it's a pre and probiotic. It comes in a little pack like this, a bag like this, and it's specifically designed for kids, but I use them all the time. Lots of adults that I know use these. If you're not a pill swallower, this is a great alternative. It has a prebiotic, which means it works higher in the digestive system. Prebiotics feed your probiotics. Prebiotics are the food that your probiotics need to eat and consume in order to be active and healthy and useful. So as prebiotics and probiotics, it's wolfberry punch flavored, and it's a powder. So you tear off the top and you can pour it on your tongue. Don't breathe in when you do this or you'll choke, or breathe out and you'll have a smoke. It's kind of like a pixie stick. You can also put it in yogurt or applesauce or on cereal or anything that's cool. You don't want to put this on anything that's warm because that will basically make it inactive. You want it to be nice and cool. So probiotics and prebiotics, always really useful. Other things that can be useful for general would be longevity capsules, right? That's that encapsulated frankincense and other things. Mineral essence. So mineral essence is the drops that you can put that add minerals into your water or supplement whatever you're drinking. And then multigreens. Most of us aren't getting enough green vegetables and fiber in our diet, so multigreens can be really helpful in just general support. Another general support that I find I'm leaning into a lot lately is Olive Essentials. Olive Essentials is one of the newer supplements that Young Living brought out at convention last year, and it supports total body wellness. The focus of Olive Essentials is the hydroxytyrosol that comes from the green Spanish olives. One of these capsules is equal to 2 liters of olive oil in hydroxytyrosol. If you were going to get the hydroxytyrosol from olive oil, you would have to drink 2 liters of it, or that would be 2 bottles, or you take one of these. So really, really, really high in hydroxytyrosol. It's a really hard word to say, but it's amazing what it can do in your system. Great for total body support. And then, of course, we start getting into and talking about the targeted system support. So targeted system support would be specifically for your immune system, specifically for immune function. All of the other things we talk about are general, or they're for other systems, but because you're helping other systems, you're also boosting and helping, supporting your immune system. In this section, we're going to talk about ones that are immune system specific. So ImmuPro would be a supplement that Young Living has that's specific for supporting the immune system. ImmuPro is a chewable tablet, and it has things in it like strawberry, wolfberries, raspberries, reishi mushrooms, maitake mushrooms, mycelia powder. It's got a lot of really great things, a lot of mushroom in here. Personally, I don't like the taste of these, but they work really, really, really well. So I have them and I use them. I know a lot of people who do like these. They can taste the strawberries more than the mushrooms. And on my palate, I taste the mushrooms more than the strawberries. So what I do is I take a Super C chewable, one of the chewable Super Cs, and I'll hold my nose, and I'll eat my ImmuPro, and then I'll eat my Super C, and the Super C is what I end up tasting afterwards. So it made it easier for me to use my ImmuPro. It is super, super useful. A lot of people right now are doing research and talking about mushrooms, and especially when you're getting a supplement that has mycelia powder in it, and this does, it has the mycelia in it. So ImmuPro, super helpful, targeted support for immune system. Of course, then we have the Super C. Super C, just so that you know, it comes in a chewable and it comes in a tablet that you would swallow. Chewable can be great for people who can't, like me, who can't stand the taste of the ImmuPro, makes it easier to take, but it's really great for kids too. And then the tablet of the Super C that you swallow is another option too. So you've got two options for C vitamins. We have a Super B vitamin option, or supplement, I guess I should say. It supports naturally your cardiovascular support, can promote a positive outlook and healthy energy, and it's just generally supportive of your immune system. So that's another targeted support you might take a look at. We also have things like inner defense. I don't know about you all, but I have a couple bottles of this ready to go in the refrigerator in case I need it. You don't have to keep inner defense in the refrigerator, but anything that comes in a gel cap. So anything for me that comes in a glass, one of these glass amber bottles, and in a gel cap, I keep in the refrigerator. It just keeps it longer. It keeps it being more effective for longer. And then I also notice that if it's something that I would tend to burp, I tend to burp less if it comes out of the refrigerator. So my Omega Gies, my Life 9, and my Inner Defense, those all stay in the refrigerator, and then I take them from there. This is really, really huge immune system support. This is not something that I take every day. I might take it once a week, but when I take this is when I feel like I'm here above the wellness line, and then all of a sudden I feel that happening. When I feel that dip, like, uh-oh, there's something I'm trying to avoid or something I'm trying to prevent, then I'm gonna maybe boost up and take some Inner Defense. It is super, super, super immune supportive. It is formulated with the Thieves essential oil, which I'll talk about in a moment. Another product that is really great for immune support is Alkaline. So Alkaline comes in a big thing like this. This is all powder, not capsules, or it comes in little individual pouches. You can add this to water. Both of these you would add to water, but this you would add the whole thing, and this you would add a tablespoon, teaspoon, 1 level teaspoon to 4 to 6 ounces of water. So what Alkaline does is it is a precisely balanced formula to support optimal pH balance in the stomach and soothe occasional stomach upset. It has biochemical mineral cell salts. I see a lot of people right now having challenges with their usage of water in their system, and a lot of that is related to not having the mineral cell salts that they need to be able to use the water that's there. It's really great for your immune system specifically. It can be useful in making sure that you have a balance of yeast and fungus in your system. So if you know what a balance of yeast and fungus in your system is, yeah, having alkaline to balance out your pH can keep that from going into an imbalance. So alkaline can be really helpful for your immune system. Something to take into consideration. Thyromine would be another one product to talk about that can be helpful for your immune system. This one specifically focuses on your thyroid gland, all things thyroid related for healthy thyroid function. If you have a thyroid situation where you're below the wellness line, this might be something to talk about with your whoever your health practitioner is. But if you just want general support of your thyroid, Thyromine can be really helpful. One of the stories around Thyromine is that Gary Young developed this after Fukushima. I think it was Fukushima. But he was looking at radiation levels and what might impact the thyroid of people and what he could do. And so that's where this originally came out of. So supportive of the thyroid function. If you're going to support your thyroid, then you're likely also going to support your immune system. Then we get to start talking about essential oils, right? So a lot of what I've talked about already are the supplements and the products that you can use with Young Living to help boost your immune system. You can also do a ton of things in the targeted support with your essential oils. The number one that probably everybody knows and would not be surprised at all about is Thieves. Thieves is the number one immune supporting essential oil blend from Young Living. It is also the number one blend that is the most imitated across the board in any and every company. Almost every company out there that does essential oils that blends them has a blend that tries to mimic Thieves. So this is the original. Amazing, really great for your immune system. You can use Thieves on your feet, the bottoms of your feet, great place to put essential oils. You can use Thieves anywhere else on your body. It does have some spice and heat to it because of the clove and the cinnamon bark. So you might want to use it with a carrier oil if you're going to like massage it onto your back or something. You can also use the Thieves Vitality under your tongue, or you can add it to a spray. So I have a spray bottle, which I can't find right now, with Thieves mouthwash in it. And then I add a few drops of Thieves essential oil to that. And then I use that as my throat spray. So if I start to get an itch or a tickle on the back of my throat, I'll use that Thieves mouthwash with some extra drops of Thieves and spray the back of my throat. So I'm getting really targeted Thieves essential oil from the mouthwash and the Thieves onto the back of my throat to help kill anything that's hanging out back there that I don't want. It also makes it easier for me to talk because then I don't have that like scratchy, scraggly thing. But yes, Thieves would be a great number one to go to. And there's a lot of ways to use it. If you put this on your skin and it gets too hot, you're going to want to take a carrier oil or something and put it on top. If you're not sure how to use essential oils safely and you're a little nervous about that, you might want to go back to my YouTube channel and watch the class that I did on essential oil safety. Talked all about different ways to use essential oils. Thieves is also a wonderful essential oil to diffuse, to help clean up the air in your house to boost your immune system. Oregano is a single essential oil, not a blend, that is really helpful in targeting support for your immune system as well. Our parents, my parents and my grandparents especially, used to cook with oregano a lot. Anytime we ended up down staying home from school when we weren't feeling well, it was chicken soup, but it had oregano in it. It was menudo, but it had oregano in it. It was all about getting oregano into us. So my grandparents knew what they were talking about. Frankincense is another essential oil that's great for your immune system. I'm looking for my frankincense here. I don't know where it's at, but I have a bottle of it. Anyway, frankincense is another great essential oil to boost your immune system. Frankincense is one that I like to put on my brainstem right here where the back of my head matches up with my neck. It can help to get into your head, oxygenate your brain, do all kinds of wonderful things that can be helpful. So you can use it on your feet, you can use it on your wrists, you can use it on your brainstem, back of your neck. All of those are great places to use frankincense. It's a great one to diffuse. Frankincense is also really helpful for supporting your respiratory support. So it might be one that I rub on my chest to cover my lungs or my sides or my back. Power is a blend that's really supportive of your immune system as well, similar to Thieves, but it has different oils in it. It has cumin and black pepper. It's a bit more of a spicy but earthy spicy, not a like high spicy but a low spicy smell to it. That one can be good topically or diffused. Cinnamon bark is one that I love to lean into. I didn't know how much I love cinnamon bark until I got a bottle and I started using it, and I love, 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 love cinnamon bark. I'll use the cinnamon bark Vitality in my coffee or tea in the morning. I might put this in some honey to help coat what's happening. I might blend cinnamon bark Vitality and clove Vitality in with honey. And if I have that like throat that needs some extra support, it's feeling a bit fiery, it's feeling a bit hot, put that in the honey. And then as you nibble on that, it can coat your throat and really like take care of whatever that irritation is back there. You can do the same thing with Thieves. Thieves has cinnamon bark and clove in it. Or if you want it just specialized, cinnamon bark and clove alone. Clove tends to be very numbing as well. So if you have something that you want numbed, don't want to feel it anymore, clove can be your go-to there. Tea tree is Melaleuca alternifolia, also known as tea tree. Great immune system. Breathe Again comes in a roll-on. This can be great for your immune system. I tend to use this on my chest right here, sometimes my back or behind my ears if I'm feeling a little bit sinusy, but my chest is where I go to on this. Sometimes my wrist, and then that's an easy way to smell, but Breathe Again can be really great. And then of course we have your regulars like lavender. Lavender is always going to be good. It's an adaptogen, so it's going to help whatever it needs to help. Boosting oils. So all of the oils that I talked about right now are kind of like cheerleaders for the immune system. So if I were trying to get over a fence, these oils right here would be the ones that are like, yeah, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. If I'm trying to get over the fence, but I need a hand up, like I need a boost to get me over, that's when I would lean into cumin or ledum. Cumin and ledum are the two that are like super boosting of the immune system. So the others are like the cheerleaders. Yeah, we're going to get you fired up. We're going to go. Cumin and ledum are actually going to like boost you over that fence. So hopefully that makes sense. And then just in general, so those are all really targeted, but generally helpful. There is a whole list of essential oils that can be generally helpful for you. And what I want you to remember is that any of them that you use that are useful for you are going to help your immune system. Stress away doesn't make the list, but let me tell you what, number one problem with a lot of people's immune system is how much stress we're under. So if you can use stress away and take off some of that stress, your immune system is automatically going to boost. Peace and calming doesn't make the list, but guess what? If you're not peaceful and you're not calm, then your immune system is probably working overtime. So you can use any of the oils that you have, any of the oils that come in your kit, any of the things that you do that are going to help you in general have the capacity to be helpful and useful for your immune system. So take a look at what you have around you, take a look at what you want to use, what you want to bring in, and think about those 5 things, right? 5 things. What resources can I free up? Unzip that zipper so you can actually have a bigger suitcase. What do I need to stop putting into it? I'm not going to store stuff if I'm getting ready to pack for a vacation. What can I remove? I don't need to leave the stuff that's in there. I need to move it out so I can pack it. What's useful for in general, right? I'm always going to pack a toothbrush, always going to pack deodorant and toothpaste. And what can I pack that's targeted, that's event specific? Same thing with our immune system. What resources can I free up? What can I stop adding that's taking a toll? What can I release, remove, detox? What can I add that's just generally useful? And then what can I add that's targeted support? If you can do any one of those things each day, you're going to add more capacity to your immune system, and you'll be able to tune in a little bit more clearly to what's happening so that you can actually address things when they start showing up. So I hope this was really useful for you. I know I went over a lot of things and kept it at a pretty high level because there are so many ways to support your immune system. If this is useful for you, feel free to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that if you found this on YouTube or on Facebook. Feel free to share it as well. If you have questions, let me know. I would be happy to answer them and happy to chat with any of you about this at any time. I hope that you all Have a wonderful, healthy immune system. Keep it up and keep going with it.